Wholeness means to me being in a state of joy.
Wholeness means feeling complete, owning my authentic gifts.
Wholeness is really connected. Everything is connected to everything.
Wholeness is where we have access to all parts of ourselves.
All right, but today's we are doing Super Attractor. This is Gabby Bernstein deck. And the card that I picked is beautiful. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It says, I trust that my powerful intentions, combined with my faith, are enough to allow my vision to become my reality. Love it.
Wow. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I love it. So this is exciting that we're going to talk again on one of our mystery imaginary interviews.
Or imaginary friend. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Okay. So I picked Audrey Hepburn. And when I think in high school, I had some friends that were always joking about Holly Golightly. Like I think they named their farts after Holly Golightly. I have no idea. It was something really weird, and I had no idea what they were talking about.
There is a Seinfeld episode about Holly Golightly.
Oh, there is?
Yes.
Oh gosh.
There is. Full circle.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so Holly Golightly's character in Breakfast at Tiffany's, which I don't know that was Audrey Hepburn's biggest movie.
Yeah.
But the argument could be made that it was one of her biggest.
I think so.
But,
I think so.
You know, there were it wasn't Father of the Bride. Sabrina was one of her big movies.
Charade. Roman Holiday,
and then My Fair Lady.
Oh, right. My Fair Lady, right.
In her twilight years, she was in Always.
Oh,
I
that's
remember
right.
when that came out.
Yeah.
Anyway, she was in I think she was only in 12 movies or something, which doesn't seem.
Oh, really?
I think it was 16.
Wow.
I don't know if I wrote it down, but
still, yeah. You think of her as just like this major movie star.
Yeah, and she wasn't in a lot of movies. But one of the facts about her is she's an EGOT. So she has an Emmy, a Grammy, an Oscar, and a Tony. So she's one of those people that has all of those.
Wow.
So she has some gifts. Another fact is she was always so thin. She attributed her always being so thin to her and her mom were kind of in hiding in Holland during World War II.
Oh,
and they were nearly starved. They did starve. I mean, they didn't starve to death, but they were involved in the resistance, and it was a complicated time when Nazis were occupying Holland. And then she emigrated to the United States, but she always had anemia. She just had some lingering health problems because of the war.
Yes. Wow.
Yeah.
I always wondered. I could always sense trauma in her.
Oh,
I did not know that about her. I did not know that about her. Yeah.
There was a lot of trauma. I didn't have this in my notes, but when I read a book about her, and she suffered a lot of miscarriages. Like what she wanted in life was just to have a happy home with children.
I do remember that.
Yeah, and it was fraught. Like that path for her was fraught with.
So that's why she had lots of pets, right? Didn't she have? She was very cared about animals. I might be mixing her up with Doris Day. That might be mixed her up with Doris Day.
Animals, I don't know, but she was involved with UNICEF.
Okay,
she was an ambassador for UNICEF.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and her son said that she had always said that there's no greater evil than war because it affects the children. And that's exactly how I feel with what's going on right now.
Yeah.
Like my heart just bleeds for the innocents that are just caught in the crossfire. Like that's the hard, that's the worst part. Well, there's bad parts, but that to me is the worst part.
Right.
And then one other part about her is that she wasn't afraid of aging, and she never had plastic surgery.
Wow.
So she aged pretty gracefully though, lucky her.
Always beautiful. And like beautiful, you can tell on the inside too. You know, she's just one of those like pure souls. I almost think of her as like a fairy. You know, she was just kind of like that light, very light, delicate, like light as in like uplifting type. You know, she was just very sweet, very like looked young.
And buoyant. She's kind of buoyant for some reason.
That's a good word. That's a good word.
Yeah. So one of the questions, I think we'll just jump right into the questions. But anyway, well, before we do that, she also had, besides being buoyant, just had so much grace. Like when I just noticed how she moved through the world. Like if I saw her trip, I would just be aghast because she doesn't seem like a person who could trip. You know, she just moves through the like she was on water or something.
Yeah, like a fairy, like she's flying. Like that's how I feel like. Yeah, she was so beautiful and just delicate. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. I don't know if she felt like that on the inside, but that's what I she felt on the outside.
Right.
What I would ask her is, it didn't seem like you recognized your influence when you were alive. Like I don't think she knew that she influenced people. But if you could send a message to the world, what would it be? I'd be really curious. Have you seen her? I found out about this probably almost 20 years ago, but her list about how to be beautiful.
No.
Beautiful person.
Oh, maybe.
You might have. When you hear it, you might have.
Yeah.
So for attractive lips, speak words of kindness. For lovely eyes, seek out the good in people. For a slim figure, share your food with the hungry. For beautiful hair, let a child run his or her fingers through it once a day. For poise, walk with the knowledge that you'll never walk alone. People, even more than things, have to be restored, renewed, revived, reclaimed, and redeemed. Never throw out anyone. Remember, if you ever need a helping hand, you'll find one at the end of each of your arms. Sorry. As you grow older, you'll discover that you have two hands, one for helping yourself and one for helping others. We could do a whole podcast on that.
Yes.
The beauty of a woman is not in the clothes she wears, the figure that she carries, or the way she combs her hair. The beauty of a woman must be seen from her eyes, because that's the doorway to her heart, the place where love resides. And the beauty of a woman is not in a facial mode, but in the true beauty of a woman is reflected in her soul. It is the caring that she lovingly gives, the passion that she shows.
Isn't she one of the ones that, or isn't she quoted as being the one that, like, nothing's impossible because the word itself says I'm possible? I think that's her.
Oh, it is?
I think that's her, or at least she's attributed to it, you know. But that would be interesting to talk to her about that, because I wonder if she would agree that she had achieved all her possibilities. You know what I mean? I wonder if she would have, if that would have been true for her or not. Because that quote, you know, like, yeah, nothing's impossible. That would be a great conversation to have with her. Is like, what are those possibilities, and how did you, you know, when there was the possibility of not having this, you know, a huge family, you know, how did that work? Because how did, you know, she obviously had this pain and suffering, but all of those quotes are very much other oriented, very kind, very unselfish, you know what I mean? They seem to be genuine, you know. It's not about, she's not just wallowing in her own sorrow. So her story, there's pieces in there. There's missing pieces that are probably best for her because they're private, but you know, it would be interesting to see what she would have to say. You know, I think she probably just didn't, like you say, I think you're catching on to something. She probably just didn't think she was important enough. You know, she didn't have much to say. And now, you know, here we are, one of many really interested in her life and what she brought to the world, you know. Not just her art, but she did have this loving piece to her, you know, this like the shine, you know, that just has lasted the decades. It was, you know,
very sparkles.
Yes, I'm telling you. Yeah. I'm telling you, I wonder, it'd be interesting to look at her star chart.
Oh yeah, that would.
Yeah. Because I bet you she has very angelic things in there. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, she probably does. Well, and she probably had a message to share with the world. I mean, she was, I don't know how she got into stardom, but
right.
She
was a dancer. Wasn't she a dancer?
She's a ballerina.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of, like, I have a cousin who lives in New York and is trying to break it as a dancer and has been trying for years. Like, sometimes the stars align, like you say.
Right.
Like, you're meant to be big.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, that would be interesting to see, you know, to really, because she's like, to me, one of the epitomes of a beautiful, beautiful woman, you know, just doesn't need to have much makeup on, you know, just really beautiful. And I wonder if she felt that, you know. I wonder if she knew that about herself or not. You know, it'd be interesting for her to talk about that. So yeah, great. I love it. It makes me want to learn more. I'm going to get the little old Google out and follow that little.
She does have biographies out there.
Does she? Okay, good to know.
I think I probably know the answer to this, but I don't, because she's not here. But would you rather had more children or more movies? You know, she'd rather reached more through generations of people or through the movies
Wow.
that we
So
still
she
have.
had one son, or did she only have one son? Do you know?
I don't know. I
Okay.
thought she had two, but I know
Okay.
she had one with Mel Ferrer, and
Okay.
but I don't know. Right, Mel or Jose? I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm gonna cut that out. I don't know if she had. I think she had one or two sons, but yeah, I think she really wanted a lot of children.
Yeah.
My other question would be: women didn't have a lot of power in Hollywood. Maybe they still don't. But when you were alive, they didn't have a lot of power. How were you able to have choices of what you did?
Yeah, that would be interesting. Right. When she couldn't even really open a bank account on her own.
Yeah.
Like those things weren't, they didn't come till much later.
Well, and like, I think it would have been hard. I don't know. I know she probably wasn't classically trained as a singer, but I know she sang Moon River in Breakfast at Tiffany's, but her singing voice was dubbed in My Fair Lady. And I always wondered, like, was that hurtful? Or did you have a choice in that? Or was it just someone said, like, you're not good enough, we have to do this? Or
right. Yeah.
How many choices did you really have in that? Or you just kind of were at the mercy of whoever's in charge?
Oh, yeah. That would be an interesting conversation.
Yeah. And then I was really simple on this one, but I wanted to say, what made you cry when you were alive? And I wanted to ask her what made her laugh.
I love those questions. Yeah.
I think I can tell you a lot about a person.
Yeah. Well, I think it's interesting. We've had these conversations. 2 of them have passed. 2 of them are still living. I think that's about right.
Yeah.
I think it's about right. And one day we'll be brave and we can do a little further. Maybe we'll do all ones that have passed and maybe see if we can get any answers. Who knows, right? Who knows? But I think it's fascinating.
You could channel them.
We could see. I got a word, like for instance, I did hear a word with Audrey Hepburn when you asked what would she like to share with the world, and the idea was very much grace. You say I have grace, like that's the answer. Give people grace. Be graceful. You know what I mean? Like give people the benefit of the doubt. Yeah. Like always have grace for people. I think we're missing that a little bit. We kind of judge people before they have the opportunity. But what if we just had grace for people? So anyway, who knows?
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah.
When most people are asked what they want, they will answer, I want to be happy. But happy takes practice. And that's what the Wholeness Library is all about. So check it out free at thewholenessnetwork.com.